This is the Rebel Call channel. Welcome to today's show. The MTV Video Music Awards used to be a very popular show that would be filled with a lot of programming in it. But over the years, more and more people have become so disgusted with what's going on in Hollywood and the music industry that they're turning away from it. But that doesn't mean that our satanic, demonic celebrities aren't going to roll out a performance, even though now it's on a Wednesday night when nobody's really watching it. It doesn't mean that they're not going to show us a lot of what's going on in their musical quote-unquote performances, which are really just satanic rituals that are occurring on a stage. And I brushed through the VMAs, and I saw a lot of things that everybody out there should see, because there's a pattern that we're seeing right now. And a lot of what you need to see comes, of course, from one of Hollywood's or one of the music industry's biggest Satanists, of course, the former wife of Russell Brand, who is now the face of the Truth movement, Katy Perry. And I'll start with this. I found it very interesting that Katy Perry was singing the song Dark Horse, coming through a gigantic, what we would look at as a portal. And listen closely to the lyrics from the song Dark Horse, which is an old satanic song that Katy Perry has that's filled with Egyptian, Illuminati, Eye of Providence symbolism. But listen, though, to these lyrics. I thought it was very interesting. If you're going to play with magic, you should know what you're falling for. And the more I think about those lyrics and I think about what's happening with technology, the more clear it's becoming that what is occurring right now, this transformation with technology, is spiritual. It's more spiritual than we ever possibly imagined. It's more spiritual than most people will ever know, because most people will continue to think that these advancements with technology have nothing to do with the spiritual realm, but they do. Listen. So again, it's almost haunting hearing those lyrics, and I haven't heard that song in quite some time. But if you're going to play with magic, you should know what you're falling for, right? And look at what everybody out there is falling for. So we see the portal symbolism all the time now. It's become almost as common as the all-seeing eye symbolism, right? So they're using this gigantic circle, and Katy Perry is coming through the circle, singing those songs. The fans are just going crazy and bonkers under mass hypnosis. And I thought what also was interesting is two things here. Behind Katy Perry, inside of this gigantic portal, notice the way that the lights are frozen. And it's showing the heptagram, which I was just talking about with Apple's artificial intelligence. And the heptagram is the symbol used for Babylon in Aleister Crowley's occult religion known as Thelema. The heptagram is known as the symbol for Babylon, or the mother of abominations. And you can clearly see that they strategically did this behind her. They often do this with lights, but during this part of the performance, they froze it. The lights weren't flickering over and over at this specific part where I took the screenshot. They were literally frozen, making a giant heptagram. And then when we come back and we look at what was happening there, once again, we see this Tower of Babel symbolism, where all of these demons, these things that are chasing after Katy Perry, are holding Katy Perry up, right? We just saw this at the Olympics with them literally using Lucifer at the Olympics, dressed in gold, to symbolize the Tower of Babel, standing atop the Tower of Babel. And that's what they're doing here with Katy Perry. Now, throughout the performance, Katy Perry does one performance. It is filled with the majority of agendas that we see going on right now. Katy Perry is laying inside of a giant heart symbol. This symbol does not represent the heart inside of your body. The heart symbol goes back to Nimrod and Babylon. Nimrod, among the ancient Babylonians, the heart was a symbol for Baal, as in Baal from the Old Testament. Baal worship that most Christians should know about. And she's laying inside of the heart. And they show you this above shot. And this is how strategic they've become over the years with how they shoot these things. People don't think about jump cuts and about how they set up the stage and hover the cameras over the stage with drones to show you shots like this. But look at the shot on the screen here, because it starts to transform into transhumanism. We start to see Katy Perry with wires coming out of her. And look at all the 666s on the stage. That's exactly what these look like. On the right side, you'll see 666. And it's just a stage filled with sixes. And it looks a lot like, because we're transitioning now from this portal into what? Well, into transhumanism. And we see those 666s, which will look a lot like the logo for CERN. Now, as we pull away and the performance continues on, the stage then transforms into what is a common theme throughout this VMA performance is aliens and alien deception. So we see what we would look at as a UFO on the stage, and written on the UFO, they keep writing words and lyrics and all sorts of stuff on the UFO, numbers, is the words, "I love you." And this is really what this is about, this massive deception that is coming. The Antichrist deception is coming in the name of love. Many are being duped completely in the name of love. Remember, they're tricking people with modern day communism, telling people that it's about community and love. And these people are falling for it hook, line, and sinker. But in reality, it's the Antichrist deception that they're falling for. So now as this performance continues on, Katy Perry suddenly grows monarch butterfly wings, right? Katy Perry has transitioned into a butterfly. And this is so creative, isn't it? Because we've never seen Katy Perry dressed as a butterfly before. Oh, wait a minute. Katy Perry's always dressed as a butterfly. She's, in fact, obsessed with butterflies. I guess she owns the majority of butterfly ranches, if there's such a thing, across the earth. Maybe in America, she's a big investor in butterfly farms, right? Along with, of course, not just her, Miley Cyrus, who has an album about butterflies. Taylor Swift seems to be very obsessed with butterflies. Okay, MK Ultra puppet Britney Spears seems to be obsessed with butterflies. Iggy Azalea, Beyonce, Lady Vomit Bad, Lady Barf Bad, Lady Gaga as well. They're obsessed with butterflies because this is how they show you that they're under mind control. And they have handlers who program their behavior. These are puppets for the elite. And the purpose they serve for the elite is social engineering as well as spellcasters. They're the ones who are casting spells on the minds of the masses. Everybody is under a deep spell. Look around, it's not hard to see it. So then we, of course, go back to Katy Perry. And Katy Perry, with this whole theme of portals, right? This theme with UFOs, we see transhumanism. We see these wires coming out of her. She's not paying homage to the Matrix and all of these, transhuman people around her depicted as transhuman, right? The mixing of iron and clay, the mixing of man and machine. And that's another common theme that we see all the time that gets glossed over, right? Camila Cabella performs, of course, a song called Godspeed. There's a theme at this VMAs as well with a lot of religious undertones, songs like Paradise being sung, Godspeed being sung. But she actually shows you as well this technology transformation that's occurring, this mixture of iron and clay. She's inside of a massive cell with see-through walls, but of course she has her technology inside of here. She has her camera inside of here and appears to be trapped. Now, if we continue to look through some of the other performances, which were so cringy, the entire thing is cringy. It's amazing that people actually watch this, but the reality is that people don't really watch this stuff anymore. It doesn't get the views that it used to get. They're continuing to roll this stuff out. They literally go there, and the audience is a majority of the same Illuminati puppets, and they lip sync to one another. They don't even actually sing. So they brought Eminem out as well, and he, of course, conveniently came through a portal. The common sheeple will look at this and say, well, Eminem is using a portal to represent, that he's back, and he's been gone since 2002. And I covered Houdini, his latest song, which, of course, Houdini himself is another Freemasonic Satanist who gets, continually talked about in today's society. Everybody's heard the term Houdini before in regards to magic, but most people don't know Houdini is a Freemason. The videos that I've done on Eminem, I believe some of them are still up. I even covered Katy Perry's recent transition here with a portal and her new album coming out, which I believe has been removed. But Eminem arrives as well in a portal. I guess he wasn't backstage talking to Katy Perry and saying, hey, you're coming through a portal. I'm coming through a portal. We're artists. People at home might look at this and say, wait a minute, I thought these people were creative. They're doing the same exact thing. But no, they know that nobody at home is looking at anything because they're in a delta state. Their brain waves are being lowered while they're watching these things and they're not thinking. So from there, we transition over to somebody I've never heard of before, Sabrina Carpenter, right? And I need to show you this because this just shows you how sick they are. This shows you their true beliefs about the fallen angels and mating with demonic entities, because Sabrina Carpenter, who, as she's performing, of course, they pull back and show us the entire stage, and we could see the planets, of course, but specifically Saturn, with Saturn worship, Satan worship, directly on the stage. And then what do we get from there? Well, we get a demon, which of course a gray, which just goes back to Aleister Crowley, who talked about summoning this spirit Lam, which looks exactly like we've all been told a gray looks like. I mean, that's common sense logic, right? If you think to yourself, well, if we've never seen aliens or any of this stuff before, why do they keep showing us and building in our mind what an alien would look like? Maybe, how do we not know the alien doesn't look like Sasquatch? It's a big hairy being. How do we know that it looks like these gray things? Well, we know because Aleister Crowley and the demon summon, Lam, is what is depicted in today's society as a gray alien. It's part of the deception. They're demons, but they want you to believe that they're aliens coming from a spaceship from another planet, and they're going to dupe people into accepting these deities and beings living over in the same realm as us. So you could see this, this gray, right, dancing on stage, suddenly making out with an astronaut. I mean, I wonder what Freemason's behind the astronaut suit, the comedy that is NASA and is the space program that people have fallen for at this point. It's really amazing that we even have to have debates about what's real and what's not. But we have people who are living in an alternate reality than us. They believe all of this crap because it's been pumped into their brain. And they're literally getting duped without asking any questions about aliens. They don't believe in demons. They don't believe in God. But they'll believe in aliens. And in fact, they'll believe in aliens so much so that the government can tell you what one looks like without anyone ever stumbling upon one, right? Without us ever seeing, this is what it looks like. They're telling you. That's why they keep showing you a gray. So get ready for it. So not only that, this witch on stage starts making out with this gray. And like I mentioned, these demonic fallen angels mating with human beings, making hybrids. This is what they're showing you here. And as this witch makes out with this gray on stage, of course, it shouldn't surprise anybody, being that most of the things in attendance here, which are all musicians themselves and celebrities, aren't human anyway. They're all screaming and cheering in delight. You would think that maybe their favorite sports team just scored, or no, you would think that maybe two people that they've always wanted to see kiss, like maybe Ross and Rachel on Friends, were about to kiss, and everybody screams and cheers. Yay! Psychologically, this has been built up for us to see them kiss, so we're all cheering. No, just some random performance taking place where a woman is making out with an alien. No one seems disgusted. They seem thrilled. So they stand and cheer in acceptance of this, because this is, well, what we're headed towards, right? So some of the other symbolism that we saw is, again, I talked about Saturn worship, where you saw Saturn being shown on the screen. The Saturn's cube worship, this is always a common thing that we see, as well as the Masonic checkerboard floor, which they were trying to be creative tonight. They put it on the ceiling instead of the ground. So we'll give them, I guess we got to give them credit for that, even though all the people singing and dancing happen to be wearing black and white clothing. But I guess, when we're seeing this repetitive programming over and over again, I guess we got to give them a little bit of credit since they put the black and white Masonic checkerboard on the roof, right? So cube worship, Masonic checkerboard floor. We even had the blood moon with Megan the demon, Megan the stallion, Megan the reptile, whatever you want to call Megan the stallion, who recently had a video come out, Mamushi, which I covered, which I believe is removed because, well, I think there could be a channel associated with it that got removed. But that is available on the website as well, Mamushi and the serpent seed, where they flat out just show you this stuff in these music videos, and they want you to think that it's nothing more than imagery of Megan the stallion with lightly, not wearing many clothes. They're showing you what's going on. And they're showing you with this, demon making out with Sabrina Carpenter, right? And then, of course, from there, we even see the flames of hell engulf the stage, which is ironic, I guess, because, I'd have to assume, I'm not one to, I don't try to pass judgment on others. I'm a sinner like everybody else. But I think one could assume that the majority of people at this event have a one-way direct flight to hell. So, of course, the flames of hell erupt and, of course, inflame behind these people with the Masonic checkerboard on the ceiling and more cube worship behind them. So it's very interesting to note this continual obsession with portals. And I've talked about this, even seeing it in TV shows like Evil, which is another video I did recently, which was scrubbed. The TV show Evil is showing us the depiction of CERN being done. Stranger Things shows us the depiction of CERN. A lot of these shows are showing you portals and manifesting demons and bringing demons over through a portal. And these musicians are showing it to us almost in every video, right? We just had Eminem, like I said, with Houdini. Katy Perry's newest thing, Portal. And she's coming through the portal. And there's a lot to take from that, right? The lyrics that I played for you from Black Horse, they strategically did that. Why is she even playing Dark Horse? Not Black Horse, Dark Horse in the year 2024. The song is probably 10 years old. A song that's all about, Egyptian deities, Egyptian gods and goddesses, or they call them gods and goddesses, they're demons. But the lyrics about, if you play with magic, you should know what you're falling for. And this theme of technology, transhumanism, the heptagram even being behind her, and then talking about love, right? The heart symbol, the symbol for Baal, the UFO, the alien with, of course, the words, I love you and love, love, love. They're plastering this all over the place and people are falling for it. All these celebrities keep talking about love and their ideologies are all these communist ideologies, which communism, again, for people that don't understand, they just think communism means we share stuff. Communism is satanic globalism. That's what it is. It's enslavement. It's the end of human rights. And through technology, they have the ability to bring this on the earth. And these celebrities are the ones who are pushing for it and convincing people out there it's what they need. It's what's in their best interest. It's in the name of love. It's part of the Antichrist deception. So it's 2024. We have another VMA performance. Of course, many people that didn't watch it, I didn't bother to look at the red carpet stuff. I saw LL Cool J perform, some of these other people that performed, Lenny Kravitz. It's embarrassing. That's what it is. I mean, it's gotten embarrassing. I've always looked at it as being embarrassing. These celebrities are only famous for the rituals and the sacrifices that they've committed and the covens and cults that they're involved in. They're not famous because they're more talented than anybody out there. That's the only reason they're famous. And they're so desperate for attention and so obsessed with fame and fortune and people worshiping them that they don't even have any self-awareness to realize how embarrassing and cringy they are. And they continue to go to these performances and cheer on one another because a lot of people out there are not cheering for them anymore. They've lost a lot of the stranglehold they've held over society, but they're doing what they're told. They're taking their orders from their handlers, and they show you stuff like this when they're all dressed up like butterflies walking around and nobody out there thinks anything of it, of why all these celebrities have tattoos of butterflies, why they're obsessed with butterflies. It just goes in one ear, out the other. Or I should say just their eyes just look at these things and they don't think anything of it, especially when it comes to some of this other stuff with the alien deception as well. I thank everybody for being here. I hope you're all doing well. God bless you and your families as always.